Welcome back to Petrograd in 1916. This is Let's Break History, the final days of Grigory Rasputin. Last week, on the final days of Grigory Rasputin.
I'm planning on going to the police department and leaning on the police chief.
You know Kovstov, do you not? He wants to kill Rasputin. We are supposed to have put poison in Madeira, but I tell you it is harmless powder.
Felix, I believe it's just Dr. Lazavert.
I will speak to him. Do you know of other people who maybe don't like Rasputin's practice so much they wish harm in next few days?
Lots of people do not like Rasputin. He is a very unpopular character.
You seem like a decent sort of person. You maybe want to come to Western Christmas party in a week or so.
I shall think about it, thank you.
So I'm thinking at this point I'm definitely going to go talk to Pavlovich. Try to pretend I'm somebody else. Have you heard of this Rasputin fellow?
Like many, I'm very afraid of the influence that he has at court. I would much prefer for him to be out of the picture.
Let's go to Badmate's clinic.
I came to investigate about special powder you may have given to somebody very recently. It's for killing a person.
He gives you a very suspicious look and he says, I cannot talk so blithely about my clients.
And now, let's return to Let's Break History.
So I have a comment. If this assassination was going to happen and it fell apart through this Madeira, right? Poisoning the Madeira or whatever it is. So it may have fallen apart because somebody backed out or they realized are telling these people. So there might be a different way. They might be trying to get Rasputin in problem. So should we investigate the Madeira lead or should we think a little outside the box?
I was going to say I could check up with good software boy Pavlovich again and make sure to what extent he is involved, how comfortable he may be sharing with me, close friends.
Good idea.
So we know he is at Sarsky Selo, Yusupov, or Winter Palace these days.
Yeah, and if you like, you can use your ability to see who will be at one of those places.
Pete, I have a question that you may not be able to answer as the game master.
Mm-hmm.
Is it for certain that people will or will not be at the same location 2 days in a row?
Most characters can appear in more than one place, and I randomly determine where they will be at the end of each day.
Okay, so there's nothing preventing them from being in the same place the next day the way that there is for us.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
So I will see who is at my palace and how Christmas preparations are going.
So the only person who will be at your palace tomorrow is a character you have not yet encountered. Another friend of yours, though, Oswald Rayner.
I'm just thinking about locations for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. So you're not exactly sure where Pavlovich will be, but you know that he's going to be in one of two places now.
I'll check out Winter Palace, see if I can find soft horseplay.
Excellent. And it looks like, Maria, you're thinking about going to the police station?
Yes. I would like to try to speak to the, what's his face? The police captain person.
Beletsky.
Beletsky. Yeah, him.
And then how about the rest of you? Where do you want to go?
Yeah, I say to the group, most of my suspects are rather well-to-do politicians, members of the gentry. I will visit Torrida Palace tomorrow and see who I can turn up.
Okay.
So, team, advise me, where should I go? What needs to be covered?
You could go and talk to none of us have talked to Rasputin this game. We could try talking to Rasputin and see what he's up to.
You don't know exactly where he'll be. I'm going to either keep him at his apartment or move him to another place on the map. It just so happens he's most likely to stay at his apartment, and it so happens that he hasn't moved from there yet, but it's possible that he goes to a different location today.
Gotcha.
So if I go to his place besides him, can I talk to somebody else there? Is there anything that I can still investigate or snoop around?
You can always snoop around at any location. And so that's going to be an option for you, but also there's a possibility that there are other persons of interest other than Rasputin there in the event that he isn't at his apartment.
Good. So I'll go to his apartment.
Okay, cool. So Rasputin actually goes to the police department today.
Huh.
And let's see, who would like to go first here?
I can go.
Okay. So we will go now to Rasputin's apartment. You pay a visit to Rasputin's apartment, which is located at 64 Gorohovaya Street. Rasputin's apartment is much more humble than many people would assume. He has simple wooden furniture and has barely decorated the place. The apartment comprises 2 floors. Outside, you see a number of government agents assigned to protect the starets, as well as a long line of petitioners that have come to seek Rasputin's help. Today, the persons of interest at the apartment are Aaron Semenovich, and that's Rasputin's secretary, and you also notice that Mikhail Komizarov is here, as well as some Okhrana agents. And the Okhrana is the secret police for the Russian state, and Komizarov is one of them, and he's just a specific one who's leading these agents.
So are these agents to save or protect Rasputin or no?
Their charge is to protect Rasputin, and unfortunately for them, Rasputin has taken it upon himself to ditch them whenever possible, and so it seems as though they think he's still at home today, but have failed to follow him.
I want to talk to the secretary.
Okay. Semenovich.
Yes.
So you run into Rasputin's secretary, Aaron Semenovich. You know that he's originally from Kiev and the former owner of a jewelry shop there. You also know that Rasputin has helped heal Semenovich's son and is rumored to have kept certain of Semenovich's gambling facilities afloat through loans. Semenovich functions more like a gatekeeper for Rasputin than a secretary, a barrier between Rasputin and the countless people who come to seek his help. You would know him as someone who comes to visit Rasputin often, and he nods as you enter and ushers you in past the more common petitioners, the people who don't know Rasputin as well. And he looks to you and he says, you miss Rasputin. His Russian is fairly broken. He doesn't speak the language natively and hasn't quite gotten the hang of it yet. He at the department for police. Okay.
So I am very close to Rasputin, so he knows me very well, right?
Rasputin does, yes. Mm-hmm.
No, not even.
Semenovich?
Semenovich, yes.
He wouldn't know you very well, but he would know you well. He would know your name and probably some details about you.
Okay. Would you know, the question I'm asking, can I have an honest with him, or is it somebody I should still sneak around and...
You're not sure. Given how distrustful you might be of people, it's possible that Semenovich is in on some sort of plot, but you can't say for sure one way or the other.
Okay. Hello, Semenovich. How are you doing? Is Rasputin in his apartment? Can I see him today?
He go to the department for police. He's meeting Beletsky, I think.
In that case, can we have a conversation in his apartment? I want to see what is going on in there.
Yes. Busy day, of course. Lots of people to speak with Rasputin. He is popular among the common folk in particular.
I can see that. Have you let them know that they won't be able to see him today?
I help where I can. Some of them, they ask for things Rasputin cannot give. I tell them as politely as I can. And then others, I tell them to come back another day.
I want you to tell me a few things. In the recent weeks or months, have there been any discomfort or any kind of issues in this place where people may be unhappy with Rasputin or got into some kind of contentious argument or anything like that you can remember?
Give me a persuade roll with advantage.
Oh, advantage, so I got it.
Yep, that's a 15.
So he thinks about it for a moment and he says, not with anyone here, but I hear Rasputin, he's got temper, yes?
Yes.
He shouted name very loudly, Purishkevich. And he bemoaned Purishkevich and why Purishkevich hate me, things like that. He seemed very upset.
Have there been any meetings between Purishkevich and Rasputin that you can remember?
I do not think so. No, not that I know of.
I have one more question for you.
If there is one person on the earth who would want to kill Rasputin, who would that be? Because you are very close to Rasputin and know the ins and out of his day.
Do you have any suspicion over anybody if they want to hurt him?
I cannot think of anybody besides this Purishkevich, but he received threat quite a lot. A lot of people do not like Rasputin.
What about you? Do you like him?
Give me a perceive roll.
That's a 16.
He puts his hands up in, I'm not sure what emotion is appropriate, but of course I owe my son Rasputin. He was very nice to me and very nice other Jews who live in city, and we all owe him a great debt.
So do I believe him?
You do.
Okay. It was very nice meeting you. Stay healthy and well. And thank you for doing everything you do for Rasputin.
And you as well. I shall see you some other day.
Thank you.
All right. So that's Rasputin's apartment. We can go next to wherever you wish.
Can I go next?
I think we should go to police department.
We can also do that. I don't care.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
Let's go to Torred Palace. So the people here today are Vasily Maklikov, Vladimir Purishkevich, and Vasily Shulgin.
Okay, hold on. Let me refresh my memory. So we got Shulgin, Purishkevich, and who was the third one?
Maklikov.
They are all Russian men whose first names begin with V.
So I am going to talk to Podchaser, and I am going to start off by making a furniture roll.
Oh, that's a 7. Good.
I am not crazy today.
Okay. So you spot a bespectacled man with a serious face and a bushy but well-kept beard, recognizing him as Vladimir Purishkevich. You know that Purishkevich comes from a wealthy family in Bessarabia. He currently serves in the Duma, but rumor has it that he spends most of his time there challenging its very existence. He is a staunch monarchist with a tendency to twitch while he speaks. Someone once described him to you as a buffoon whose career was both suspect and comically sordid. Right-wing and anti-Semitic, Purishkevich has made clear his distaste for Rasputin's frequent defenses of the Jewish people. He approaches you and says, "Hello, what can I do for you? What minister, what bring you to the palace?"
Oh, is there a title for members of the Russian legislature?
Shoot, I'm sure there is.
But we don't know what it is. That's fine. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna power through. Nothing serious, Vladimir. Just checking in. How are things in the Duma these days?
Terrible, as always. No work gets done here, and it is an entire waste of time.
What makes the work terrible?
They waste time. All these decisions should be left to royal family, and instead they spend their time hooing and hawing and all of this nonsense about we have people decide things is crazy.
So you say, Vladimir, so you say. So what make you of the royal family these days and their decisions at court?
He says, I think they're way too close to that adventurer Rasputin. He is bad influence on royal family, and I wish to see him dead.
Okay, let me think about this for half a second. How on the nose do I want to be with this fellow? You know, Vladimir, it's funny that you say that. I have been receiving many reports, some of them more serious than others, about people who wish to see Rasputin dead. So it's funny that you say that to me on this beautiful December 4th day. You wouldn't happen to know of anyone in particular who has taken some actions in order to achieve those ends, would you?
Give me a sense in which you're saying this. Are you trying to communicate that you are supportive of these actions, or are you trying to communicate that you're investigating them in order to put them to a stop?
I'm trying to not only give the impression that I'm investigating them, but now that he has said he wishes Rasputin dead, I now consider him a prime suspect and would like to know if he would like to tell me anything.
So it's more of like an intimidation sort of...
Yeah, I'm threatening to throw the book at him.
Okay. Give me a persuade roll.
Okay.
Ooh, okay, that's 24.
He freezes and says, it's just a turn of phrase. I'm clearly not planning anything. Give me a perceive roll.
Okay.
With advantage.
That's a 19.
Well, that checks.
Yeah. He's planning something.
Okay, yeah, so I don't trust the word comes out of his mouth. So I will just say to him, you know, Vladimir, every day as I conduct this glorious investigation, I get closer and closer to finding out the truth behind this conspiracy. And I will say to you now, before things get any worse, that there is still an opportunity for all of this to end. And for those who cooperate with the ministry to see perhaps a less excessive punishment. You're a monarchist. You know how kings feel when you attempt to murder members of their court. I would hate to see you caught up in all of this, my friend Vladimir. So if you have any information about this conspiracy, you'll feel like you can share it with me, your friend Alexander, right?
Give me one more persuade roll, this one with disadvantage.
Okay.
That's a 7. All right.
He looks at the ground and says, well, as I say, I plan nothing, and so you take your investigation somewhere else, I suppose. I swear to you on my mother's life that everything is on the up and also the up.
I go and I try to pat him on the shoulder. Does this action succeed?
He twitches as you do that, but you are able to pat him on the shoulder. You've clearly rattled this man, but that is your major action for the day. He thinks of an excuse to leave and rushes away in a bit of a sweat.
Great stuff.
Okay, so eventful happenings at the palace, the Tauride Palace. Do we want to go to the police department next or the Winter Palace?
The police department.
Okay, so at the Department of Police today, that reporter Becker is here again, and so is Stepan Beletsky, who always seems to be here. Alexei Kovstov is here, and so is your father. And I will remind you that at this point, you could easily use your special ability, which allows you to interact with your father for free, and then you could even use an additional minor action on this turn if you wanted.
Okay.
And you can do that in any order, so you could do your investigation first, or your major action first, and then talk to your father. It's up to you.
Well, may as well go talk to Daddy first. It'll be a little suspicious if I don't.
Okay. So he says, "Hello, Matrona. What brings you here? Did you follow me from apartment?"
No, I am here of my own. I came to ask you the same thing. What are you doing here?
Well, I have arrangement with Beletsky, and I am here to collect.
Ah, I see. Well, don't let me hold you up. It's good to see you.
And you, have a good day. Do not spend it all indoors. Enjoy the outside. God has made the light of the sun to shine on our shoulders.
Yes, and it's a beautiful day in December.
It is a beautiful day any day on God's earth.
Yes. Okay, so I guess next I will go... I guess I should... what is the timing of this all like? Like, is it possible for me to talk to Beletsky right now, or is he occupied with my father?
You can wait around for him to finish up with your father, and then use your major action to talk to him.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, so you wait around. Once your father leaves, you step into Beletsky's office, and he looks at you and says, "Do I know you?"
You know my father. You just spoke with him.
Oh, you're Maria? Is that the name?
Yes, I am Maria.
How can I help you? I just spoke with your father. Does he need anything else?
No. I'm worried about my father. I came to talk to you about him.
Oh, a lot of people are worried about your father these days. Too many people. It's my job, and I work hard, and I wish people would interrupt me less. But please, what do you have to say?
I understand. Hopefully I will not take up too much of your time. I'm concerned that there is a plot to end his life, and I would very much appreciate any help you can give me.
Give me a persuade roll.
Not good.
Yep, that's a 7.
He says, well, there's a lot of people who work hard to keep your father safe. I would not worry too much. A lot of well-informed men who are much better suited to police work than a peasant girl like you.
Can I do a perceive check?
Yes.
That's an 8.
I don't perceive very much, apparently.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, you can just take his words at face value.
Is there anything that I can still do here?
You can use your minor actions still, and you could use that to try to either influence your father to take a particular course of action, or to convince him to go to a specific place the next day, or know where he's going to be tomorrow. That last one is something if nothing else occurs to you, is probably a good idea, because it's just generally good to know where he'll be on any given day.
Yes, good idea. I would love to do that. Where will my daddy be tomorrow?
So you go back, catch him on his way out of the police station, and you ask him where he's going to be tomorrow, and he says, "It's not really your business, but, and then give me a persuade roll with disadvantage."
Close. That was a 9.
That's terrible.
He says, "I go where I go, and it is, I've not decided yet. Perhaps I'll let you know later." But he decides to head out and leave you at the police station. So
Heavy sigh.
Heavy sigh indeed.
Thank you for listening. I interrupt you mid-episode to beg you for help. You see, we're an independent podcast, otherwise known as a rinky-dink operation. You can probably tell from the quality of our audio. Best way you can support us now is by rating and reviewing the podcast wherever you're listening to it. If you include a history fact in your review, we'll include it at the end of one of the podcasts. You can also support us by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/letsbreakhistory. Regardless of how you choose to support us, we're just happy you're listening. Thank you from me and from everyone else who helped put this podcast together.
So I think the Winter Palace is the last place we'll go to for today. So the Winter Palace, let's see who's there today. The only character of note, the only person of interest here is one of the few characters you have not yet encountered, Samuel Hoare.
Lovely name.
Indeed.
My sweet horse boy is not here.
So you can either poke around here looking for clues, or you can speak with Whore, or you can attempt something else if you'd like.
I will speak with the Whore.
All right. So you approach this English gentleman, and he extends a hand and introduces himself as Samuel Whore. You are not sure what his business is in Petrograd, but he speaks cautiously and seems to keep a good track of his surroundings in a way that suggests he's not entirely at ease. Good day to you, sir. I trust that you are someone of importance, it seems, by your garb. Am I correct in that?
Hello, Whore. Yes, why, if you were ever in Russia at any point, you would know I am in one of wealthy and influential families. We have palace.
Which family is that?
The Yusufovs.
Oh, my apologies. It's quite an honor to meet you, sir.
Yes, so you don't seem to know much about this country. What are you doing here? What's your deal?
You see, I'm simply here on business. I am a businessman who is doing business deals businessly.
What is your business? What do you sell?
Give me a perceive roll real quick.
20.
You can tell that he's hiding something from you here and that he's not actually a business person. And he says, yes, well, and then he looks around and he says, I'm in the marble business. Marble, yes.
It doesn't seem like very lucrative business that supports international travel.
Well, you'd be surprised.
You sure you're not here for some other purpose? You can tell me. Cool.
Give me a persuade roll. We'll make this at disadvantage, though.
Yes.
Oh, 2 18s, all right. You take a look at this guy, and he can see that you're onto him a bit, and he says, well, if you must know, I work for the embassy, and my role here is a delicate one, and I'd appreciate it if you didn't spread word around that I'm here and doing what I'm doing. I'm afraid it's a state secret and all that.
What are British doing? They're not thinking of dropping out of war, are they?
Oh, heavens no. I should hope that the Russians are in the same boat, of course. And if we should negotiate peace, it really must be in tandem and not separately with Germany, for I fear that either Russia or England would lose much bargaining power if we were to do it alone.
So you don't have any marbles, is what I'm hearing.
Marbles?
So you'll just work for embassy. You sell no marbles.
Oh, quite. No, I'm afraid that was a ruse on my part, and for that I apologize, but you must be quite careful who you speak to about these things. I trust that as a well-bred gentleman, you understand?
Yes, of course. This matter of diplomatic import, it has nothing to do with maybe a mutual friend Rasputin, no?
Roll another perceive roll.
19.
Oh, I've heard the name, but no. He says, and you're pretty sure that he's lying to you again. I really must be going, though. It has been quite a pleasure chatting with you, but good day, sir. And he...
Wait, I didn't invite you to a Christmas party yet.
Well, I shan't be here through Christmas, I'm afraid.
I've
got to go back to England to have a regular Anglican Christmas party.
Is early in month.
Yes?
Like, several days. Sooner, maybe.
Oh, your party?
Yes, quite.
What day is it, then?
Hammering out details, probably before 10th. Is White Elephant. You could bring marbles.
Alright, give me a persuade roll. We need to be keeping track of who's coming to your Christmas party. I think so far Lazavert is coming. Was there anyone else who you've convinced to come to your Orthodox Christmas party at Yusupov Palace?
I think I failed with the soldier Sukaton.
Oh yeah, you did.
So roll a persuade roll.
16.
Okay. Well, if I'm still in town, I shall be there, of course.
And maybe you'll tell me more about our friend Rasputin, you know?
I shall. Yes. Perhaps. Maybe.
You'll have wife here, you bring.
Unfortunately, my wife is not on the continent. She's across the old pond, as it were.
Oh, even better. You don't need wife for that.
He raises an eyebrow and then makes his exit.
I also raise my eyebrows.
It's an eyebrow raising contest. All right, so let's reconvene at the Tavricheski Garden. Was there an end of the day thing that I needed to do?
So Peter, Anna, I have a special ability to report anything like the two conspirators to Zarina.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of feel like I have them.
Yeah, so to report to the Tsarina, you need to give two conspirators' names, the location where the murder is planned to
I don't
occur,
have the location yet.
and then also the planned murder weapon.
Okay. I feel like I know planned murder weapon has... I'm just sharing this with the team, and then you guys can tell me if it's not what you think it is. And Boriskovich and Pavlovich, I think, are conspirators.
And Kovstov.
I feel like Kovstov might be a medium. He may not be in the center of it.
I met a whore who maybe knows Rasputin. Sorry, Mr. Whore.
Yes,
Thank you for that clarification, young man.
there looks like there are plenty of people who hate Rasputin and wants him dead.
Oh, I should say, actually, let me reveal. There's now a new place available to go to on our map. The English Embassy is now somewhere you can go to.
Is that because of me?
Cool.
Oh, how exciting.
I'm kind of worried this Christmas party might be where he's gonna die. We all love Rasputin. We should be laughing, but it's pretty funny.
So we have the name of several conspirators, Poriskevich, Pavlovich, Kovstov, but we do not know the method of the murder, nor where it will take place. I believe... So, Pete, I wanted to ask you about this. You know, it sounded like, and I took Stepan at his word, right, that the poisoned Madeira plot, right, is no longer happening. So is that not a, like, live, like, conspiracy for turning people in for? Like, I don't know how this is going to work.
As far as you know, given the information that you have, the police have intercepted that particular method and dealt with it.
Okay.
Okay.
Because Beletsky's essentially lying to Kovstov about his participation in a plot to murder Rasputin and pretending to help, but actually just giving Rasputin a case of Madeira that's been tampered with, just an inert substance.
So here's another question for you that you may not be able to answer in good conscience.
Oh boy.
Should we assume that can we assume that there is only one conspiracy, or could there conceivably be multiple, like, rings of co-conspirators independently trying to kill Rasputin here?
Okay, so let me say this. I would have made a bad investigation if I hadn't put in some red herrings.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay. So that's good to know. Okay, that's bad.
So we have some people who have murderous intent, but no murder weapon.
So can we start ruling out people who are neutral / don't care about Rasputin, or, you know, they are in the middle of it, but they may not be operators, or friend, and then the friends, and then the enemies. Can we start listing them out in that way? like everyone.
Sure. And if you want to, it might be a good idea to start using your cooperative notes thing that I made in Google Drive for this, so that you can write out the names of the people you've met and spoken with thus far, and just write down your impressions, because now's a good time for that. So feel free to speculate away.
So I will say, just about having pulled together this list, this has just been like my running pro against unsure, based on both our interactions and like the bio stuff. So it's all laid out there. You know, I think Beletsky like had a solid opportunity to kill Rasputin and didn't do it. So I'm putting him in like the strong cleared category. And then I've got Pavlovich, Perskovich, and Kovstov as like strong suspicion, Lazavert and Horror as like maybe suspicious, and then everybody else, you know, is either pro or unsure.
So, I mean, I guess Zarina is pretty simple. I did put her in the pro Rasputin. But I think she's fine. But if you guys think, maybe there's something there, we can move her in a different list.
I think she's pretty clearly like trying to make sure he doesn't die.
Right, but she has a very strong feelings about Pavlovich, that Pavlovich is a good guy. Maybe just misguided family, emotions or whatnot.
Sure. I think that makes sense.
We know Pavlovich is my friend, so according to the bio, close friend of Prince Felix Yusupov.
I see.
Decorated war hero, serving in the Lifeguards Horse Regiment, so he's my good soft horse boy.
Right. So let's talk about Beletsky again. We know that he stopped the last conspiracy, right? But could it be a reason he stopped it because he didn't get enough payment from the side? That is he a corrupted person? Like, if that's the case, there might be a different reason why he didn't go through, letting the conspiracy happen or intervened. Or are we okay definitely saying he's a good guy?
I mean, I feel like he's not actively trying to kill Rasputin. Part of I'm not 100% sure, for example, that Andronikov isn't part of the conspiracy. But the alignment stuff here is who do I think is, as Proskevich said, right? I want him dead. I don't think Beletsky wants Rasputin dead,
I'm going to start color coding. The greens are the good guys. Here you go. There is a way to do this.
Yeah, the highlighting is probably good. So I'll just summarize again. So right now in the pro-Rasputin column, you've got Semenovich, who is the secretary. He's Rasputin's secretary. And you have Andronikov, who actually I don't think anybody's spoken to yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Rubinstein, who was a business partner of Rasputin's and was giving him the case of Madeira through Beletsky. And then you have Kamizarov, who is tasked with protecting Rasputin. And then you have the Tsarina, who is, of course, very close to Rasputin and likes him for healing her son.
How did if we never talked to Andronikov, why would he make it into this list? Does anybody have inside knowledge that the whole team doesn't know?
I think the bio or the character sheet. You know that Andronikov has recently sought to ingratiate himself with the Rasputin, but we don't know exactly why he's trying to ingratiate himself with him.
Could it be because he wants to kill him?
No.
And that's a plot?
But the end of the bio says you also know that Andronikov throws lavish parties rumored to be orgies, some of which Prince Felix Yusupov is known to attend.
Mm-hmm.
So, Christmas party's gonna get crunk.
I hope I'm invited.
A very unorthodox Christmas.
Very Western Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, I think that characters like Andronikov and Maklakov are characters that we have not spoken to in game, but I've aligned on this thing based on their bios, just which way they lean I don't think that it's a hard clear, but
Put them a question mark. We may want to, like, as the next day, they should be maybe in our top list to talk if we come across them, and then try to have like a perceive roll, see if we can get more insight knowledge.
Well, so I'm going to change something then. I'm going to do this then, I guess, because like Lazavar and Hor definitely they're definitely against Rasputin, and we don't know how strongly, right? And so like I wanted to mark those two as like there's clearly something wrong.
Yep.
But like Andronikov and Makarkov, we just don't know anything. Like,
agree. So one other thing, like, do we, from any of our interactions with different characters, do we know if Pavlovich and Poriskovich had any interaction in the past, or there's any connection between those two? And if there's anyone in between, like they have a mutual friend, or like some kind of interaction in that circle. Do we know anything?
I don't think so. I don't think there's anything that we know explicitly.
So that might be something we want to investigate, if two of them are like talking, meeting through somebody else, or there's a exchange of letters and interactions or anything like that. I mean, I would be interested. Anna would be interested about that. And the other thing I'm interested is Rubinstein, the Madeira. He was sending the Madeira. Somebody was trying to put a poison in there. Beletsky intervened. So was Rubinstein just wasn't aware of it? So why did he end up in the good column again?
Yeah, I'm concerned about that as well.
Yeah.
We can move into the unsure. I don't mind. Yeah, I mean, my take on that was that he was giving the Madeira, like, just out of the kindness of his heart, and then Beletsky was being paid to poison the Madeira, like, during the transfer. But, I don't think that that's necessarily the case, right? So.
Right, because, like, Rubinstein is supposedly business partners, good buddies with Rasputin. Why wouldn't he just deliver it himself? Mm-hmm. Like, why is this going through so many different, middlemen, so to speak?
Also, Maria volunteered to take it with her to give it to her father, and he said no.
Exactly. That's suspicious.
Yeah, but he also, like, in my opinion, doesn't have motive necessarily, because, like, he's trying to ingratiate himself to Rasputin and, like, get on Rasputin's good side. And then if he kills him, then his link to the Russian aristocracy is broken.
Okay.
Maybe.
So what do we know about Maria's boyfriend? Definitely Rasputin doesn't like him.
He's an absolute hottie.
I like that.
I was going to say, what's his name?
Okay.
Like you see his picture, that's more important to me than anything else.
Oh, well,
There's
unfortunately.
no picture?
Yeah, unfortunately,
Hey,
we don't
there it
have
is.
a picture for him. Yeah.
What's his name again?
Simoniko
Picadze.
Picadze.
Pkhadze.
The most pronounceable of names.
There is no picture. Come on.
It's so
All right,
sad.
it just says he is a tall man, I assume, of medium build with dark brown hair, a straight nose, and small dark mustache. A very handsome man.
That threw me off. I'm not sure about hot now.
Yeah, I prefer mine with a little more build, I like a little more.
Oh. Meaty.
Give me just a little
I
bit
like it.
more.
Meaty.
A little bit of excess. Oh, me and I.
Yes.
So I have one more observations from our last visits to the Tibetan doctor's clinic, Madmev's clinic. We know the book went missing. Maybe it has something to that. Maybe it's a red herring. I don't know. We might wanna, next time we go to the clinic again, keep an eye if that book appeared back in the shelf again. Maybe.
Okay. Well,
Let's not spend a lot of major action in that, but maybe if you are already there and have a minor action there, just pay attention.
Yeah, that's definitely something you could check out with a minor action, just to make note if a book has reappeared.
Hello, sir. Anybody in here?
Yeah, I'm here. What are you doing here, Samuel Hoare?
Oh, well, you must understand, I'm just here to do, business things. I'm just a businessman doing business things businessly.
Well, can you business somewhere else? Maybe you could read the history facts at the end.
Sounds splendid. Good chap.
Alright, good. So, that's our episode. Thanks so much for listening. If you're enjoying the podcast, please consider supporting us by going to patreon.com/letsbreakhistory. Member benefits include early access to episodes, custom artwork, and other cool stuff. Remember also to review us. If you include a history fact in your review, we will read it at the end of an episode. We are trying to get as many reviews as possible on Apple Podcasts in particular, so if you have the podcast app on your phone or on your computer, make sure to go ahead and give us a review. You can also tweet at us using @BurningTavern, and you can find our Facebook page at facebook.com/BurningTavern. Remember, folks, sometimes history does not quite repeat itself. See you next week.
Alright, so I'm back with a history fact from our friend of the show, the Huntsman, who is a Patreon subscriber. Just a decade before the First Crusade, one of the most successful crusaders, Bohemond of Antioch, was locked in a fierce war for territory with the Byzantine Empire. He likely entered into the crusade not out of any religious conviction, but in an attempt to secure more territory to his name. If you would like one of your own history facts at the end of an episode, go ahead and write us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you can review the podcast. And make sure we hear about it by tweeting at us at Burning Tavern.